The original Super Mario Bros. Has to be one of the most iconic and well-known video games of all time. It was one of the first games ever released to feature the now widely recognized Mario. It was bundled with the original NES when it came out back in 1985, and as a result, millions upon millions of people have played it. But out of all those people, a few like to push the game to its absolute limit, right up to its breaking point, and beat it faster than most can ever imagine. Super Mario Bros. Has become one of the most popular speedruns to watch over the past few years, and part of that can be contributed to its short length. It's exciting when watching the stream to think that at any point, a new world record could be set in only 5 minutes. For over a decade, players have come and gone, each one grinding the record down a little bit farther than the last. And today, I'm going to show you how the time has progressed over time. To start, it's necessary to understand that the way you can gain or lose time in this game is different to a standard video game. Because of what runners call the frame rule, players can only lose or gain time in increments of 21 frames, or approximately 0.35 seconds, in every level other than the last level, 8-4. This is because whenever you finish a level, the game only checks for completion every 21 frames instead of every frame. To quote current world record holder Darbian, it's as if at the end of every level, a bus arrives every 21 frames to bring you to the next level. Even if you miss the bus by just one frame, you would still have to wait 20 frames to catch the next bus. Sometimes though, you'll arrive just before a bus does, and you'll hardly have to wait at all. Of course, this doesn't apply on the last level, since timing stops immediately once you touch the axe at the end. Although a speedrun of this game is short, there's quite a bit that goes into it. 1-1 is simple enough. You run through, take the underground pipe, and finish the level. 1-2 is an underground level, with a few precise jumps, but due to the frame rule system, you could actually afford to slow down a little bit and not lose any time. At the end, you use the warp zone to go to World 4. 4-1 is really easy, you just run through and beat the level. In 4-2, you need to take an above ground warp pipe to go to World 8. This world is where the ground gets really brutal. 8-1 is the longest level in the game, and it features some of the toughest jumps in the entire run. 8-2 is another long level, with Koopas that can spawn in different positions that can trip you up. 8-3 is filled top to bottom with Hammer Bros, and their patterns can sometimes kill you no matter what you do. Finally, the last level, 8-4, features it all. Brutal jumps, a precise water section, Hammer Brothers, and of course, Bowser at the end. The first run that we're going to look at is Scott Kessler's 510, which he achieved back in April 2004. This run was riddled with imperfections, but it didn't matter to most. Back in 2004, speedrunning was a fraction of the size of what it is today, so minor mistakes were largely overlooked. The fact that Kessler was able to beat this 20-year-old game with such precision and skill boggled the mind of so many. One thing to note is that back when this run came out, it was believed that hitting the top versus the bottom of the flagpole didn't matter, since either way, the flag would have to slide from the top to the bottom. Keep this in mind for later. Months passed and another runner came out of nowhere to challenge Kessler, Trevor Sagan. Sagan and Kessler took turns lowering the record, from 510 to 507, then to 506. This 506 stood for a couple of years, and in that time, 4 players were able to tie it, including a 16-year-old under the username AndrewG1990. Finally though, in September 2006, Scott Kessler achieved a 505, which in the opinion of most runners at the time, seemed to be a pretty much perfect run. And from watching the run, it's clear why so many people thought this. The most difficult sections were executed beautifully, and there weren't any visible mistakes. So, a 505 seemed to be the end of the line for Super Mario Bros., unless some major new strategies were discovered. And that's exactly what Andrew G did. Since Andrew G was just 1 second away from the record, he set out to find as many new strategies as he could. The first one was the decision to stop having Super Mario Bros. Be a glitchless run. There were a couple of known glitches in 8-4 that could save about 1.5 seconds total. The first one was a wall jump off of a pipe, which required both a pixel perfect and frame perfect input, and the second one was a wrong warp with this pipe. Because Super Mario Bros. Only had the capability to load one warp zone at a time, once you passed a certain point on the screen, the game would load the water section. So, all you had to do was go to this point, then turn around and go back to the pipe. The reason that neither of these glitches were used was because under Twin Galaxies rules at the time, which is where these runs were being submitted to, no glitches of any kind were allowed. Utilizing both of these glitches on top of a perfect run would be able to get the time down to a 504. Andrew G wanted something more though. He wanted something that would set his run apart from the others, so that people could say that his run truly was the best. And his answer was in the level that would become infamous for years to come, 4-2. Normally, you just climb up the vine and go to the warp zone, while in the process having to watch the cutscene of the vine going up, then Mario climbing it, finally Mario getting off. Andrew realized that the beginning of 4-2 works similarly to the wrong warp in 8-4. If you fool the game into thinking that you're farther back on the screen than you really are, and get closer to the right side of the screen, then going down this pipe will take you to the warp zone too, except it will completely skip the cutscene with the vine. The only issue was getting close to the right. However, one day Andrew finally figured it out. If you backwards jumped into certain objects in just the right way, you'd be pushed to the right. Typically, if you do this 3 times at the start of 4-2, then you'll be far enough to trigger the wrong warp to work. So now, Andrew had the strategies. He purposely didn't reveal them to anybody, and instead grinded the game without telling anyone for months. Finally, in April 2007, his efforts paid off, and he was able to cut more than 5 seconds off of the record. Unsurprisingly, this video blew up on YouTube, which ushered in a new era of Super Mario Bros. Speedruns, the reign of Andrew G. Once again, Andrew had achieved what seemed to be a nearly perfect run. He had beaten what was already considered a perfect run by 5 whole seconds, so it's no wonder that his run garnered this title. For a few more years, nobody really got close to beating his time. He was on top of the world of the video game that was arguably on top of the retro community, and it seemed like nobody could touch him. But finally, in late 2010, Andrew G asked himself the question, is it possible to beat the game in under 5 minutes? He once again started to grind, and in December of 2010, he broke through, but not quite in the way he wanted to. He lowered the time by 0.2 of a second, and when he took another look at the run, he noticed slight imperfections that he could potentially fix. So he pushed onward, and the very next day, Christmas Eve, he was able to cut the 5-minute mark, finishing with a time of 4:59.4. For the first time in history, somebody could say that they could beat Super Mario Bros. In under 5 minutes. Andrew had executed everything that he wanted to in this run, so he took another break from Super Mario Bros. For a while. About a year later though, a few more improvements came to his attention, the biggest one being where to jump on the flagpole. In his previous runs, if it wasn't easy to jump on top of the flagpole, they just jumped wherever they could, since they figured they wouldn't lose any time. However, look at this comparison. If you jump at the top instead, you don't brush on the block at the bottom, and you accelerate more quickly towards the castle. This saves a few frames, and sometimes saves enough time to get another frame roll. Combined with a newer, slightly faster method of doing 4-2, Andrew once again pushed his time down slightly further, this time to a 4:58.89. Another year passed, and Andrew G came back to the game once more. This time, he got 2 more improvements in the same week, and streamed them live on Twitch.
Alright, that, I don't know what that timer is. Oh my gosh! I think I beat it again! What the heck?
At this point, Andrew set a goal in mind. He wanted to take the time down to a 4:57, no matter how long it would take him. There were a couple of ways to go about it. One way was to go for a faster version of 4-2, which would save 1 frame roll, and the other way was to go for the bullet bill glitch, which would save 2 frame rolls. This glitch involved having the bullet bill shoot at the end of 8-2, then jumping on it in just the right way so that it could clip into the bottom of the flagpole, skipping both the flag coming down and Mario walking to the castle. Andrew quickly ruled this method out, as it would involve both getting lucky to have the bullet bill shoot fast enough, which almost never happened, and getting the glitch to work if it did shoot, which also almost never happened.
It's too slow!
He decided the only way to do it would be to go for this faster version of 4-2, play the rest of the game absolutely perfectly, minus the bullet bill glitch, and then play 8-4 as good as anybody had ever played it at the end of a run. The main issue with this was the trick that would soon get the nickname Fast 4-2. In order to get the wrong warp to work, you needed to be pushed at least 20 pixels to the right. If you get pushed 20 pixels, you need to go down the first pixel of the pipe. If you get 21 pixels, you can go down either the first or the second pixel, and so on and so forth. Any backwards jump can push you between 7 and 10 pixels. So the way that Andrew used to do it was to get pushed 3 times, and then be able to easily go down the pipe. With Fast 4-2, however, you would only get pushed twice. You need to get 10 pixels from each bump, which is rare and pretty much completely out of your control, and then stop on the first pixel of the pipe and go down it. Even on his best days, Andrew wasn't able to pull off this trick more than 1 out of every 20 tries, and it led to streams of him playing the first 4 levels over and over again and then resetting. But, anytime when he got past 4-2, it was as if time stood still. There were just 4 levels separating him from the 457. Andrew's usual banter with the chat would stop, and everyone watching would be extremely focused for the next few minutes. There were only a few moments like this each stream, and they more than made up for all of the resets in 4-2. And every now and then, he would finish a run as a new world record, and Andrew's reactions were always the best.
Oh my gosh! I don't even know! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! What the? What? I don't even know. Ah! It's gonna be like 458.03 or something. I'm gonna die.
But finally, it seemed like the stars had aligned on one run that he had. He had gotten past Fast 4-2 and was on pace for a 457 all the way.
And now I might beat my 458. Holy crap. For those who just tuned in, I broke the warpless record. I got 1926, I think, and now I'm ahead of my warp record right now. I am a frame rule ahead right now. If this is a 457, I'm gonna flip out. This is crazy. No!
He kept grinding, and his time kept dropping, but it still remained a 458. Finally, in March of 2014, his time was just 1/10 of a second away from a 457, 458.09. Ultimately, he said that he didn't care if he ever achieved a 457. He felt as if he had mastered the game, and that he'd taken the game to where he wanted to. After all, he still had the world record. He was only 1/10 of a second away from hitting his ultimate time. He had done what he could do with the game, and it seemed like nobody could beat him. One morning in June 2014, speedrun fans around the world woke up to find this video trending on YouTube. Super Mario Bros. Beaten in 457.69, uploaded by speedrunner Blubbler. In this run, Blubbler opted to not do the fast 4-2, but instead did the bullet bill glitch, which saved an extra frame roll from what Andrew G was going for. How did he get the bullet bill to shoot? Well, it turns out, enemy patterns can be influenced by what frame roll you're on. If you start the game at the same time every time, and play through the game on the exact same frame rule, you can control when the bullet bill will fire. All Blubbler needed to do was find a good frame rule to start on, then play through the level in just the right way, without stomping on any Koopas, which influences the time at which the bullet bill shoots. He was able to get the glitch in a run, and shock the world by beating Andrew G by 4/10 of a second. Once again, this run stood for a while, and not many people were really trying to beat it. But finally, in May 2015, a fairly unknown speedrunner called Darbian rose above, and got a 457 for himself.
What? That has to be a 457!
And then got another one just 2 days later. Both of these runs utilized the bullet bill glitch, but not Fast 4-2. Darbian grinded more and more, trying to get closer and closer to the record, and then in October 2015, after more than 6,000 attempts, he broke through, and beat the record by a matter of just 4 frames.
I don't know what that was. I have no idea what that was.
A few months later, the game was receiving more attention than it ever had in the past. Darbian was trying to improve his record, Andrew G was trying to take it back, and another player by the name of Cosmic D12, who was Andrew's closest competitor when he was going for 457, was trying to get it for the first time himself. They decided that the ultimate time for Mario would be when a player got a run with Fast 4-2, the bullet bill glitch, and an extremely good 8-4. Nobody knew if this goal was even realistic, since getting even Fast 4-2 or the bullet bill glitch alone was incredibly difficult, so getting them both in a run would be absurd. But in December 2015, Andrew G proved that it could be done, when he became the first person to get them both in a run.
Yeah! Yes! 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 Come on!
After getting it, that run was on the best pace that any run had ever been on before, and Andrew was visibly uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh.
He ended up getting the wall jump and the 8-4 wrong warp,
Oh my gosh!
but a slow water section ended up preventing the record.
No! 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 No!
The run still ended up being a PB for him, 457.993. 18 months after he gave up on getting a 457, Andrew G achieved 2 amazing tasks in the same run, proved that a run with Fast 4-2 and bullet bill glitch was possible, and he got his own 457. A month later, Darbian was able to put a decent 8-4 at the end of a run that had both Fast 4-2 and the bullet bill glitch, and took the record down another 0.2 of a second.
Boom! That's it!
But the last level had a few small mistakes that he knew he could fix, and once he did a couple of months later,
Oh my gosh!
he claimed himself that he had reached his goal and that it was as far as he was going to push the game. After all, there were no more known frame rules that could be saved anywhere by a human, and the 8-4 in the run was incredibly good. He did manage to accidentally beat the record by 1 more frame while hardly even trying a month or 2 later, but it really seemed like that was the end for Super Mario Bros., that the category was dead. But if there's one thing that people should have learned by this point, it's that when people call Super Mario Bros. Dead, it never really is. People once again began to examine the run deeply, and look for anywhere where an improvement could be found. The answer laid in a trick that was considered TAS only at the time, the flagpole glitch. By getting lucky with your positioning, jumping on the perfect frame, and then by doing a series of incredibly difficult inputs, it's possible to clip into the bottom block below the flagpole, and skip the animation of the flag being lowered. Think of the bullet bill glitch, except that it has no bullet bill, but it only saves you 1 frame roll instead of 2. For years, this trick seemed to be impossible to pull off by a human, but thanks to some research by Mario speedrunner Mav6771, a setup was found that was just barely humanly possible. And in August of 2016, Darbian was able to pull it off in 1-1, and save a frame rule in the process.
3-5 seconds.
Come on.
Well, we're gonna find out right now. We're gonna find out right now.
If he was able to do that in a run, then get Fast 4-2, and then get Bullet Bill Glitch, and play everything else perfectly, then he would be potentially able to get a 456. But unfortunately, the success rate at getting the flagpole glitch was just too low for it to be viable, so it was put on hold for a while. Then Sockfolder came onto the scene. Thanks to his work with tasking the game, he was able to solve the most difficult part of the flagpole glitch, getting on the right subpixel which is a position smaller than a pixel that you are normally unable to control. You need to be positioned on the correct sub-pixel for the flagpole glitch to even work. Thanks to Sockfolder's work though, he found a series of inputs that you could take to ensure that your sub-pixel is correct. From there, it's just getting those inputs, jumping at the right time, and clipping into the block. This trick could be done on 1-1, 4-1, and 8-3 to save time, although the manipulation needed to set up the 8-3 flagpole glitch was pretty difficult. 1-2 and 4-2 didn't have flagpoles. To gain another frame roll in 8-1, you would need more frames than the flagpole glitch saves you, and 8-2 already has the bullet bill glitch, which saves more time than the flagpole glitch, so the flagpole glitch is never used on those levels. Both Darbian and Cosmic D12 incorporated this glitch into their runs. Cosmic decided to replace Fast 4-2 with the flagpole glitch in 1-1, and Darbian decided to do the same, but also do an additional flagpole glitch in 4-1. Cosmic was the first one to find success. He was able to tie Darbian's world record, and then lower it by 3 frames just a few days later.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. I think it's 0.19.
But because Darbian was going for an extra flagpole glitch in 4-1, he had the advantage over Cosmic. He's able to take the record back from him and recorded the first 4:56, a time long considered to be absolutely impossible, 3 days after Cosmic took it from him.
That was it! That was it! That was it!
And as of January 2017, that's where the record for this iconic game stands. Over the course of 12 years, the time came down from 5:10 to 4:56. Each time, players set a new limit on what they thought the best time could be. First it was 5:05, and then Andrew G beat that by 5 seconds. Then people thought that there would never be a sub 5, but Andrew G beat that one as well. Then people thought that a 4:57 would never happen, but Blubbler pulled that one off. Then people said that you couldn't get Fast 4-2 and the bullet bill glitch in a run. Andrew G proved them all wrong once again. Then people said a 4:56 is impossible. But Sockfolder found the flagpole glitch setup, Darbian got a 4:56. Now, people are saying that a 4:55 is theoretically possible. If you got the flagpole glitch in 1-1, 4-1, and 8-3, if you got Fast 4-2, and the bullet bill glitch, on top of an 8-4 that has never even been done at the end of a run. The point is, even for a game as famous as Super Mario Bros., where it seemed like every trick possible is figured out, you can never say with absolute confidence that a record won't be improved. If you do, there's always going to be somebody to prove you wrong. Thanks for watching everyone, I'll see you next time.